In this video, we will introduce and explain the 3 phases of TrueGrid. We will show you how to move between the phases using the interrupt and resume commands. We will add a material property and use the display material command. We will show you an example of part replication and demonstrate various rotation techniques. There are 3 phases in TrueGrid: the control phase, the parts phase, and the merge phase. What appears on the screen when you start TrueGrid without a command file is only the menu, which includes the text box. Once you add a part, it puts you into the parts phase. If you are unsure what phase you are in, you can always look for the phase name in the gray program title banner in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. When we complete building our parts, then we enter the merge phase to merge our parts together.
And one way to do that, and it's not the only way, is type in the word merge. And the reason for merge is so that we can put all the parts together. These parts may have separate nodes that are in the same location, and we need to glue them together. We call that the merging process, or just simply merging. And you have to do that before you can write the output file. So I type in the word merge and hit enter, and now I'm in the merge phase.
Notice that the computational window showing the block mesh is no longer showing in the merge phase. Once you enter the merge phase, you no longer have the ability to modify the parts that you have generated.
So if you need to change something in that part or any of the parts you've generated, you end TrueGrid and you start it up again using the tsave file. And what you do is you put the word interrupt into the command file. I'm going to show you how I do that.
We're going to use our tire problem to show you an example of how the interrupts work in the TG files.
Now here we've got one part. Here's a second part. Now suppose that I wanted to make a change to this second part. I'll go to the end of that part, and I'm going to insert the command interrupt. Now what TrueGrid is going to do when I run this file is to run to this point right here and stop and become interactive. And then when I'm finished making a change, I then can say resume. I'll demonstrate that.
Because of the interrupt, TrueGrid stopped in the middle of the generation of this tire model.
And I could make some change to it. Maybe what I could do is issue a command that changes the material of this block of the mesh. So I'm not actually changing the mesh, I'm just adding another property. So I go to materials and I use the MT command. And if you recall, I hit the F1 function key to enter this region into the command. And it automatically filled in these numbers. We're going to talk about these numbers shortly. And I'll set it to material number 2. So now when I resume, it finishes it. And we should see the result of that material being changed. No, we didn't, because I have a command in there that says change all of the parts and materials to this color. However, I can use the command to only show material 2.
If you don't know how to use the display list commands, watch the training video called Environment Windows Panel.
If you remember, we went through that list of commands where you can control what's in the picture and what's not in the picture. So I'm going to say display material, that's DM2. And there it is. That same part that I changed, a region of the mesh that I changed to material 2. Now you might say, well, wait a minute. There are many of them here, and I only did one of them. Well, that's because I replicated this. That input file I showed you only did one section, and then I replicated it. So that's why you see so many instances of the same portion of the part. Now down here we have the rotate button. And if we click on it, and then we use the middle mouse button, we do a click and drag, we can rotate everything. Now there is a fixed coordinate system to the screen. From the center going to the right is our screen X coordinate. From the center going up is Y. And for Z, it comes out of the screen orthogonally. We can control the picture by typing in commands or using the dialog box for these commands. I will start by first of all doing a restore. So now it has aligned our global coordinate system with our screen coordinate system. And that's kind of a starting point. Now under graphics, we have a number of commands that we can use. Viewing and graphics are basically the same. There were too many commands to fit in here. So I had to come up with another name for a category, and I called it viewing. And in here we have the rotation commands, Rx, for example, Ry, and Rz. We'll do a rotation around the x-axis using the right-hand rule for rotation direction, the y-axis, and then the z-axis. Now I can type in Rz, or I can use the dialog box. So I'll use the dialog box. So I give it an angle. Now I'm talking about the rotation around the picture screen coordinate system, around the x-axis. That would be this one here. So I'm going to rotate this 30 degrees. By the way, it's always in degrees in TrueGrid, not radians. So I execute and quit, and that rotated it around the x-axis 30 positive degrees. Now I can do the same with Ry. This time I'll type it in, Ry 45 degrees. And then maybe the Z, Rz 30.